What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Sports Biz Report, Season 2, Episode 10. Today I'm joined by Lindrit Shkodra, and today he's going to talk about his multiple internships he's had and, his experiences and how he's gotten them. So if you want to introduce yourself, start off.
All right, well, I'm Lindrit. I started off last year with my first internship in the fall with Ron Jaworski's Celebrity Golf Challenge. I was their events assistant, so basically I handled everything from getting sponsors for the event all the way to event management during the event. From there, I had a brief little instance during the summer for the U.S. Open. I helped run the Ridgewell's catering staff there. I was the administrative assistant. And then from there, I actually got lucky to join on the staff of KCB Sports, which is the marketing side of Drew Rosenhaus's clients this year.
Yeah, it's a pretty impressive resume so far. I want to talk about how, that first position with the Ron Jaworski Golf Challenge helped you, set up a good resume for your position now.
Well, it definitely helped me learn the skills of basically what I'm doing now, so I guess I had a little head start of not having to formally be taught everything that I was doing now. Just because I was already reaching out to companies about being a sponsorship, and now I'm reaching out to companies about possibly partnering up with our athletes, so it kind of mixes on what you're doing and how you're doing it.
Similar skill set,
right.
Basically. Yeah, I mean, it's a good start. I think it's a good point that you bring up, how your first experience helps you out with, other jobs in the future. Do you think, certain classwork has also, gave you a good foundation for what you're doing now?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I know we had Brett's class with basically event management, and that was huge for me during the event day staff of a golf challenge, just because it kind of prepares you for everything that you're going to be doing and how you should really go about communicating and when to, really bother those above you on event day, just because they're in a huge kind of mental madness themselves that you don't really want to bother them and you kind of want to be doing your own thing.
And, for all of us who've worked events, nothing's ever going to go as planned.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why you said communication is key, so I think that's a great point you really brought up there. Now, secondly, now you're with KCB Sports. You want to go into what you actually do for them and maybe how you got that job specifically?
So I was actually really lucky. It was I was in class, first day of class, and my friend Tommy May introduced himself, and it was just, I heard him say Rosenhaus Sports, and that's exactly who I want to be in the future. So I reached out to Dr. S. Dr. S introduced me to him, and just through that I started becoming friends with him. And then it started off as me basically just helping out the company, and then by getting some deals or some future deals lined up, they started to like me. I started to produce revenue, and then it turned into an internship and a possible co-op this spring.
Yeah, that sort of touches on what networking is.
Oh, yeah.
So, I guess that you would agree that it's safe to say, especially in the sports industry, the ability not only to network, but to network properly really
right.
can make you stand out.
Oh, yeah.
And then secondly, you talked about how when you heard Rosenhaus, you knew that's what you wanted to get into. Can you talk about how maybe what you're doing now is setting yourself up for, where you want to be within the sports industry in the future?
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, it's within the company that is the biggest representation of athletes in the NFL, so it could lead to a possible job in the future, for one. But also, I'm reaching out to companies, basically trying to get deals for our athletes, and that's going to be something that when I become an agent, or if I become an agent, it's going to be something that I don't myself fully do, but it's going to be something that I'm going to need to be skilled in, just because it's something that they deal with on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Sort of as a similar way, like for me, I want to get into sales, and a customer service position might not be sales, but it teaches you what you need to know in order to
right.
be good at
right.
sales, just like what you're doing now gives you that foundation in order to be a good agent in the future.
Right.
I think that's a really good point, Mabe. And then finally, I just want to hit on I mean, you're working with professional athletes. Is there anything that really stands out about them? Is there a story you have, or you're still, you're getting there, you don't want to give it out yet? Yeah, so I know we talked earlier, and you actually had the opportunity to head down to the Super Bowl party in New York. Do you want to talk about what you did there and how you sort of got there?
So through my first internship, I kind of kept a connection with them and told them I'd be willing to help out in their big events. And one of their big events is actually Jaws' cigar party that he holds every year right before the Super Bowl. So they actually invited me to come down and sort of help them run the event, which was really cool. I got to meet a lot of the ESPN kind of cast, just kind of deal with celebrities, which was something that I'm sort of getting used to. And if you asked me before a year or two, I probably would have told you were crazy that I would be dealing with celebrities like that. But it was great. It was a great event. People really loved it. The venue was great. They really helped us out a lot, and people were kind of thrilled with how great the place looked.
Yeah, I think you're making a good point where the experience itself might not have an immediate benefit that you're going to see, but in the long run, you can say, "Oh wow, I learned that from that experience, and now I won't make that mistake that I might have made if I didn't have that experience."
Right. Oh yeah, definitely.
That's a good point. And then last thing I want to touch on is for our blog, you've been doing the Drexel Connection, which is another really form of networking. Do you want to talk about how you got the idea for that and what you actually do?
So it was originally just me and Brett were sitting down and talking. Brett's a professor here, for those that you don't know. And just through kind of talking, we thought it would be a great idea to sort of give people a place to go and kind of find other professionals that are in the industry that have also had that little Drexel connection with them. And through that, it's given me and those who read the blog a nice way to network with professionals that are in the industry that have that Drexel connection with Drexel.
Yeah, I think it's a great column to start, not only for yourself, but especially for the readers,
right?
Especially for incoming freshmen who really, once they learn the importance of networking, they'll be able to apply it to their own professional careers. So that last question here, if you were to give, an incoming freshman or even an underclassman or anyone who's trying to get into the industry a piece of advice, what would it be?
I know it's going to sound cliche because everybody says it, but it's definitely networking and kind of LinkedIn is huge. Through LinkedIn, I've made a lot of different connections that have led me in some way, sort of another. And lastly, I would say kind of find someone who you want to be and sort of basically model yourself after that person and kind of, in a way, not stalk, but like follow that person's footsteps.
Yeah, I think that's a great piece of advice there. In sports, if you can latch on to a mentor early, it's going to set you up for something really well. And just to go off that networking piece, I feel like a lot of students should be networking with themselves because these are the people who, they're going to be their colleagues in the future. Oh, yeah. Maybe they need a job. You've worked with them on a project or something. They'd be good.
Right.
I think that's more important than what people realize.
I mean, for incoming freshmen, find out everybody who's in your class and basically either Facebook friend them, send them an invitation on LinkedIn. It might not sound like anything now, but in the future, say you're looking for a job, somebody knows you from school, it's huge.
Yeah, it's going to make the difference.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you heard it here. Some great advice from Lindrit on networking, on how he got to where he is, and he's latching on to a mentor in a way, and I'm pretty sure it'll take him somewhere in the business eventually to becoming that agent. So for Lindrit, I'm Mike. We're going to sign off. Stay tuned for next week. We're going to talk the NBA All-Star Weekend.